fish. I'm on a mission. It's so pretty, I sure hate to waste this chance. We'll find a shady spot, not too cool, not too high. Perfect for living, fishing, and romance. Oh yes.
Morning, it's just starting to break daylight. It's the end of November, and I'm gonna go down. Got to do a combination of a few things this morning. Depends on the wind, what the wind does. I'm gonna stay in the canal for a little bit, and then I'm gonna lock through and go out into the, maybe do a little over and jig a little bit for some specks. There's a place down there that I'm gonna see if they're there, and just, you know, take my time and enjoy the morning. Good Lord, give me another morning to go fishing, and which I thank Him for that, and hopefully I can catch a few fish. Now that's up to me. Let's go down and see how we do. All right.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird. Bird is a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird. Well, a bird is a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird. The bird's a winner. Well, a bird, bird, bird.
Well, I found them, and I didn't catch them for about half hour, 45 minutes. I couldn't catch nothing. I thought, what in the world, I see them down there. So what I did, I just added a split shot and got down there where they was at. They're right down on the bottom again, about 6 or 8 inches off the bottom. And I put that split shot on, and then I started catching them. I was switching my baits up. I always start off with chartreuse tail. Then I went to just the clear twister tails I've been making. Blue with a, just clear, no chartreuse or anything. And that done pretty good. I mean, but I got tangled up a few times. They were pretty nice crappie this morning. It's pretty nice specks. I mean, some of them were 13 inches long, and if I didn't jump right on them, they'd go from one side to the other, and it's a little different when you're up front there like that. You're trying to manage the fish. And at one time I had like 4 on at a time. I had 3 on this side I'm on right now. Then I looked over and there was 1 on the other fish bowls over there. None of them kept. I mean, all 4 of them didn't keep, but boy did they tangle up. They went from one side to the other because I couldn't get to them. And June bug and chartreuse, I done good with the darker colors in chartreuse today too. I mean, once I see that sun, once it got up, and I went to a little darker color, and it seemed to help. Caught a pretty nice bass too. I caught a nice bass trolling, and yeah, it's just a really good morning. Just a little bit of wind. I mean, I kept kind of kept at an angle where it wasn't in the wind. And I was doing about, if you see, I'm doing about 0.8 miles an hour. And sometimes I'm up to 1 mile an hour. But most of the time I was 0.8 because I want to see, I'm right in the middle of the channel. I want to stay right on bottom. And a few times I was bouncing off bottom and picked them up. So, but yeah, it's just just a really good morning, crappie fishing. I was due. I haven't caught none for a while, but we're coming up on the full moon too. And I always do good on the full moon, right before the full moon. Then the full moon comes and I don't do squat then. But right before the full moon, I usually catch a few fish. It just the old blind hog thing. You know what I'm saying? Up till today, I went for 2 days and. Well, one day there I never caught a fish, and yesterday I think yesterday I only caught 2, or the day before I only caught 2, and just couldn't figure them out. I mean, but I wasn't using my scent like I usually do, and I just wasn't using my electronics either. I mean, once I dialed in electronics and I dialed in the scent, and then I put a split shot on. And I also was using some crappie nuggets. I put crappie nuggets on the hooks, a few of them, and it made a difference. And I'll tell you what, I kept switching the colors out, kept switching the colors out. They didn't want a real bright color, okay? They wanted pink or some kind of just a lighter color for some reason. And then when the sun came up, when the sun came up, they wanted a dark color. It really makes a difference. I mean, that's why you have to have a variety of colors in your box to switch them out. If you want to do good, and golly guys, don't be like me. Take your time and use your head, which I didn't. I haven't been. I've just been throwing them back here and kind of about half asleep, and I got thinking, I was sitting around thinking, I said, man, I got to switch out baits, and I went the 6-pound test, and I had a split shot, and it really made a difference, because I'm only using 1/32 ounce, spinners on the bottom, and I ended up getting a limit today. I caught a limit, and I don't do that very often, but I just thought I'd get it. There was an old gator. They call him Gator. He's an old buddy of mine. He lives back in Huntington, West Virginia, and he wanted to mess a fish, so I kept 25 of them for him, and he can't hardly get her out anymore. He can't get out and get around anymore. So I got him a mess of fish, and he was a happy camper, But yeah. I told him, I said, no, that's 50 fillets. That'll last you a long time. Because he's an old bachelor, you ladies looking for a single man, I mean, just go down, stop at George Tackle and then ask for Gator. He's a handsome devil, so. You can see it's really a comfortable morning. I mean, it's probably in the 70s, just a slight breeze, and I found a fish, and I figured them out today, which I don't always do. I don't always figure them out. Sometimes they whip me, but they didn't whip me this morning, so that's a good thing. And then I needed it, because I've been getting my butt kicked for the last couple of days. I ain't been catching anything, so. But when I go out there and I don't catch no fish, and I'm not real productive, I'm always thinking, man, what can I do different? I don't know if you all do the same thing or not. What can I do different? Should I mini? Should I tip it with a mini? Should I use my spray, or should I use different kind of spray? I just try to figure out something different so I can catch fish. And what I've done. A little bit of everything. I mean, I put all new line on my pole, 6-pound test, and changed my heads on all my rods, put on bright red heads, and I switched out the tails, and I seen which one was working the best, and I caught some on blue and chartreuse, but it was all right. But Junebug and chartreuse and pink and chartreuse seemed like it was a little more productive sometimes. I don't know why, but it was. I didn't really catch a lot on blue and chartreuse this morning. Them was throwing back here. Them was bluegill. I was catching bluegill. I was just trolling and catching bluegill. And You know me. I don't care what I'm catching as long as I'm catching something. I don't care if it's bluegill, cichlids, specks, whatever. I don't care. Catfish. Now, catfish I'm not really crazy about when I'm trolling because they go from one side to the other like that one did. And I got to retie. Put new line on and retie. But that's all right. That's all right. When you troll by yourself like this, you got all your rigs up there in front of you, okay? It's a lot harder. I mean, it's easier to troll off the back of the boat. My little John boat that I have, I troll with it, and I got them on the back of the boat there, and it's shorter. It's just a lot easier to troll with. But this one here, you're gonna get tangled up. I mean, especially like I said, I was catching big fish today. I mean, 11 or 12 inches. That's big for me, specks, and they were heavy. And here's going from one side to the other. And see my boat control. That's so important. I'm out of the fish right now. I'm clear over on the bank. I'm trying to untangle something or take a fish off or something, and I got to get it back out there. What's nice is you got somebody else back here controlling the poles, and you're watching the electronics and you're staying in the fish. You get over there on the bank, they ain't there, but you get out there in the middle, that's where they're at, and they're right on bottom. Broke off on a few fish. I suspect they were probably catfish or bigger bass, and yeah. I enjoy trolling. I really do. I mean, this is just an easy way of catching specks, and I can just trolling. Usually I troll 0.8 to 1 mile an hour, and I'm either pushing. Sometimes I got minis I'm pushing, but you can do the many things, and sometimes you're more productive because I'd go into some look, and they look like 20 or 25 specks down in there, and you could stop with your pushes. You just stop there and just if you're meat hunting, sit there and just get your limit just a little bit. But I like to move around. I really do. I like to move around a little bit, especially if the wind's not really bad, and kind of look around, and I'll catch myself looking at wildlife and stuff, and the boat's headed for the bank, So, yeah, it's not like somebody's maintaining everything. You got to do it all. You're the captain. You're the deckhand. You're the dishwasher, you might say. You got to do it all. You got to put them in the live well. You got to retie, but that's all right. That's the fun part of it. You can see that one went clear across the back of the boat. It was on the other side and running clear across, And see, I'm fooling with that one right there. And if one goes off on the other side over there, you got to pick them up and get them pretty quick, or they will tangle. And once you're fooling with them, oh well. And it was fast and furious this morning. It really was. I kept several, but I probably caught between 40 and 50, and I'm not exaggerating. But most of them were little. Most of them were about 7-8 inches long. But I caught some nice ones too. I mean, I caught some. There were some nice ones. Guys, you can pick all these baits up and them off your rods and stuff up down there at Gerard's Tackle, there in OKEECHOBEE, and then you just go in there and tell Leaf what you want, or Caleb, and they'll set you up with this kind of a rig, trolling, and you'll be in. You can see they're pretty good size. You'll be ready to do it. I mean, I don't care what you got. If you got a 22-foot Ranger or you got a 12-foot, 10-foot John boat, you can do this. I mean, you can do this. You can stay in the canals, or you can stay in the backwater. You don't have to go out in the lake. There's plenty of specks up back in here, and all these canals and. Yeah, I kept some for old Gator. Gator likes the specks, I put in, you seen where I put in, it was dark. It was dark this morning when I put in, and I got organized, situated, and started doing my thing here just right at daylight. And daylight this morning about 20 to 7, you know, and just as soon as I got them out, I just started catching fish. And I caught fish clear up to 11 o'clock. I mean, just nonstop, just, you know, pretty steady. But if I wasn't tangled up or something, you know, I was trolling. I didn't have much downtime. I mean, every time I start to sit down, I'd have a rod go off. So that's, you know, that's good. It's okay, but I kind of like to have a little time in between them. But now, if you got somebody with you, you know, you can sit there and you can take turns taking them off. But, you know, if you're by yourself, you know, like I said before, it can be a hassle sometimes. It can be a hassle. And I had 8 poles the other day, and I just said, no, I'm not doing this. I had 6 poles this morning, and I, you know, they were getting tangled up with the fish. So you could really do it with 4 poles, I'm telling you, and just not to get tangled up. But I tell you what else you can do. If you're in the back and you want to put 8 poles out, okay, you put, 8 poles. Okay, you can put 3 on each side, like I got right there. Then you can take 1 on the inside, on each side, take a 3/4 inch slip sinker, and then put a leader, about a foot leader behind it with a twister tail and a spinner on it, and start trolling like that. Now the ones you put in close to the prop, okay, they're going to be right straight down. Okay, that 3/4 ounce weight's going to hold them right straight down. They're not going to get tangled up. Now, if you're going to get one, you just pick up on them, pick it up. And what happens is you gotta get one in that prop wash. I don't care whether you're trolling for muskie, you're trolling for steelhead, salmon, muskie, or walleye. What happens is you got them 2 rods in there right close to the prop wash where it's coming back. It's knocking that bait all over the place, and you're going to catch a lot. You catch a lot of fish doing that. I really do, because it's so erratic right there. You put the weight on it and put it right straight down. That way it don't get tangled up. And then you can troll with 8 rods. There's no problem. You can troll 8 rods because that one's, you're not throwing it in the back. And when you get one on it, you just pick it up. My remote wasn't working for a long time. All of a sudden it started working. It started working. So I knock on wood, knock on my head. It keeps working. So I was trying to get another one and I couldn't find none. So I thought, well, I'll just keep putting it in. All of a sudden it started working. So that's a good deal. You know, that's a good thing. One last thing. I come in today and I'm in this boat every day. If I'm not in this boat, I'm in the John boat. And I'm telling you, I'm hard on the equipment. But I'm in it every day for at least 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours every day, almost every day. And where my transducer on my live target, I looked at it and it was about ready to fall off where the base was. And then I looked back for a rod holder on my side back here, and it had come loose where it vibrated loose. And what else was it? My bunks on my trailer, the bolts, with the vibration of them, they've come loose. So I had to come in, and at 1 o'clock I started working on my equipment. I was tightening stuff down, putting tight lock on everything, and that's just, if you're going to use it, it's going to be a pain in the butt sometimes. And this is a good one here. He's a fighting with me, He's a fighting. That's what it's all about, That's what it's all about, boys and girls, is just going out and get the lighter. I think that's a cichlid there. Yeah, that's a cichlid. That's the only one really I caught. But I thought I had a bass, and when he did, I thought it didn't jump. And I thought, oh no, see, he turned my rod holder clear around. If I got along the bank or I got out of the middle out there, I didn't catch anything. Them fish are right, I don't care if you're in the Kissimmee River or where you're at, they're right in the middle. For some reason, they're just staging right in the middle. When the wind is blowing like that, it's coming in behind you, like I'm going upstream with it, you're coming in behind you. Sometimes it's hard to maintain 1 mile an hour. So what I do is I'll just drop my power poles down, and that'll give it a little bit of resistance, if you know what I'm saying. And then I can control it a little bit better. Does it affect the fishing? Not really. I've never seen where it did. It really doesn't. I'll tell you what does affect them, and it really does. But I still leave it on because I want to see where they're at. That's the live target. When it's shooting out there in front, and I see fish out there like 20 feet in front of me, okay, and I'm going down through there and I see fish out there 20 feet in front of me. So I got poles on both sides, okay, out there 10 feet. I don't have the real long ones out with me. I just got the 10 footers, and you got down to 8 and then down to 6. That's just easier for me, by myself. When that thing's shooting out there and it picks up like a school of fish, 20, 25 of them, they'll scatter. Because that thing's letting out a ping, just like if you ever watch them, like I always said, you ever watch them old submarine movies where the bang, bang. That's what that transducer does. And these fish have kind of, there's a lot of people trolling anymore, and they've kind of got used to, they hear that, they just kind of scatter a little bit. I could see that on my screen this morning. And so it was, it was interesting. But I didn't turn it on. I just left it on because I wanted to see where it is. And you can see I still caught fish, but they weren't staying grouped up. Now, if you were like pushing and you looked out there and you seen 20 foot out there, 15, 20, 30 feet out in front of you, what you could do is turn that thing off and just ease up there, and with your minis and your rods down, and you'll catch a lot more fish. Me, I didn't care. I just like moving around, looking. I'm watching my poles, but I'm also looking up on the bank for the birds and the wildlife. It's just. I did see some bags of garbage where people would throw it into the canal. It's just, I wish it wouldn't do that. But they do. I mean, you got some pretty crude people. You know what I'm saying? Pretty crude. But yeah, it is what it is. Game wardens have got their hands full down here at the FWC. I mean, just with the outlaws, and I tell you what, if you want to see how people are, go underneath the Kissimmee Bridge. If you're not doing anything sometime, and they fish a lot out there, do it. It looks like the dump out there that they're dumping in. I mean, there's trash from one end of that place to the other, and I'm surprised. And I think that's why they shut it down. Like down there at Indian Prairie, you could go all the way down and fish. You get on the bank on that one side, but they put a gate across it because people from the bank would be fishing and they just throwed their trash. Same way up the Kissimmee River, they did the same thing. They just went along there. Just when they left, they just leave their trash. So they just took and and gated it off. If you want to see how people are, just walk down there underneath the bridge and see. It just looks like a garbage dump down there. It's really awful. This year's been a little worse than ever, though, for some reason. I went down there and watched them fish there yesterday for a little bit, and before I went in, put in there at the baseball field, and I watched them. They were doing the double rig thing, where they was throwing out there with double rigs and catching them, and they were catching some nice fish there. Right against the bridge. They had to get right against the piling, and then they'd catch a nice one. But yeah, they were catching some pretty nice fish. But how can you stop the trash throwing in? You can't. I tell you what they used to do it, and I don't think they do it down here, because they got so much stuff down here going on that game wardens are involved with besides you know, the wildlife and the fishery. What they used to do, I'm telling you, I used to know some of the officers up there, and them officers took it serious. I mean, they really did. Kevin Goff, you know, Jerry Keller, and just to name a few of them. Bates, Mr. Bates, he was in the game warden. They took it serious. They really took it serious. I'll tell you why. What they would do is they would change them. Go, hey man, you're going to go up Brooke County today, and you're going to they'd take an old truck and an old boat that would have the license like it was out on it, and they would be in old clothes and stuff, and undercover. You know what I'm saying? Undercover, and they would watch you with binoculars, and they would get you. The garbage thing, they would get you. I mean, trash. If they had a place like underneath the bridge here, they would have somebody down there watching, and they would start nailing people. They really would. And what they would do is they'd fine them, but it wasn't really a big fine, but they'd make them clean up everything. They'd make them clean up. You know, down there. Every so many weekends they had to get down there and clean up underneath the bridge and this and that and that, and you know, they made them, you know, think twice next time they throw that cigarette butt down or throw that garbage down. I don't see them undercover down here. They pretty well, if you know, they're kind of like a I don't know. They've got the FWC on their boats. They've got the FWC on their trucks. They didn't have that up there. They didn't have them. They had old boats and stuff, and they'd get you. I'll tell you what they used to do over there. I used to fish Stonewall Jackson all the time. They used to have a lady, a game warden, and she'd go out with a guy, and she'd wear a bikini, and she was a looker, you know what I mean? And she was put together pretty good, okay? And they'd go up and start talking to people, and she'd pull out her badge, jump in the boat, and look and get you. I mean, you had no idea she was a game warden. Yeah, they were a little sneaky, which you had to be because the outlaws were sneaky. And most of the game wardens up there at one time or another, they were outlaws, so they knew what to do. Yeah, I caught several this morning that made it. That was a good thing. It was just a good morning. Out riding around, just a good morning. It was just you know, I hate to say this, but I wish I didn't have so many bites sometimes, because I just like to sit down and relax. Couldn't relax all morning because it was on stop. It'd have been a good morning to have somebody on a trip. I mean, they'd have got a bunch of fish. You know, like I said, if you want to do this, it's $350 for a half a day. And if you want to get in, you know, I supply the bait and crappie fishing. Now, bass fishing, you got to buy the bait. You know what I'm saying? You gotta. It's $25 a dozen for wild shiners, you know, for bass. But crappie fishing, I buy the minis, and I provide all the bait and stuff, and the rods and the reels and everything else. Just, you know, all you got to do is bring your drinks and put in the cooler there. So, yeah. Them long poles, even the 10-footers, they're all right. But, you know, like I said, when I'm by myself, sometimes they're just hard to manage. You know, it's hard. I can't do the 14-footers by myself. It's too much. You know, it's just 10-footers as much as I do. You can see right there, it was June bug and chartreuse. I caught several on June bug and chartreuse today. You know. And then we get a little bit of the sun come out, then we get a little bit of cloud cover. And does that make a difference? Absolutely it does. I'm telling you right now, the colors make a difference. Everybody says, well, no. I'm going to give you a good example. I found some, where a guy was feeding some fish, okay, from his dock, all right? And I'm not going to say where, because he really don't want nobody to know, which I understand, you know, it's his fishing spot. But when I throwed the feed out there, I took a little bit of feed with me and throwed it out there, and I flipped in there with my white jig, which I've been catching a lot of specks on. I could not get a bite on that white jig. I couldn't get a bite. So I switched over to one of my grass shrimp jigs, throw it in there nonstop. I mean, it was all cichlids, but there's nonstop with them cichlids. I mean, they grabbed right a hold of that darker colored, kind of a brownish, and then the feed was brownish. So, you know, color make a difference? Absolutely it does. It really does. And see how they got cloud cover? And does that make a difference? Yes, it does. It makes a difference. Sun comes out bright, it shoves them a little farther down bottom. Clouds come out. I watch them fish. They come up another foot off the bottom. They're still in the middle, but they come up. You know, because the sun, they're kind of, you know, they don't. And there's no cover. There's absolutely no cover down here in Florida for them. And if there is any cover, they spray it and kill it. You know what I'm saying? So the only way they can protect their eyes, and you know, crappie specks got big eyes, is they got to go down deep, and they got to go down deep. I was talking to Mr. Bob. He lives right here up above me here, and he's a night fisherman, and he'd been sick. He hadn't been able to go too much, but he went the other night, and he was telling me that he couldn't sleep, so he put his boat in at 2 o'clock and went down there and turned his lights on down there and I think he caught 18. He caught about 50 fish, but he caught 18 by 7:15. Okay, so he wanted to get his limits, you know. He's been out there all night. He wanted to go ahead and catch his limit. From 7:30 till 9 o'clock, he caught one fish. He caught all the rest of them when it was dark, you know, and them lights. That's how, you know, these specks, I mean, they are very sensitive to the light. And it's just something you figure out after a while, you know, and then being on the water all the time, you know, you kind of figure them out. Look here, I'm pushing him down so he'll make 10 inches. He made her. I didn't bring him in because I don't want Mr. Green Jeans nailing me. and that, like I said, they're not for me. They're for Gator. I don't want none of them. Gator wanted a mess, or I wouldn't have fooled with them. I just like catching them. Could you have casted and caught them? Absolutely. I mean, there was a couple of them that just as soon as I threw it back and started to set it down into the rod holders, and they about jerk it out of my hand. So you could have casted and caught them too, you know what I'm saying? Sit there and cast and just slow roll it in, and that's fun too. I mean, that's another way of catching them. Just, you know, sit out there in the middle, and if you got the electronics, it makes it all right. Because you're not casting them blind. You can exactly see where they're at when you're casting, and you can see them coming after the bait. You know, patrolling you can't. You know, so there you go. There's one right there. That's a light blue. I think the light blue with the chartreuse tail. That's that new color I've been working with. It's kind of a clear with like blue reflectors inside of it. And I'm catching a few on it, especially, like I said, when that cloud cover moved in there, it seemed like I caught a few more of them on it. Yeah, I about ran into the bank here. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Thank goodness you can see my electric motor is working good. I don't know what, I don't know. Which I'm happy. It ain't nothing more aggravating than trying to turn that thing and you got a fish on one side and a fish on the other side, and the motor won't turn and your wind's blowing you into the bank, you know. So I've seen some guys, the Garmins, they're having trouble with them. I just got interrupted. I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting these daggone robocalls about Medicare because I'm 72 years old and they're calling. These people sitting in their house bothering everybody. You know, I don't know. I really don't. But you can see the specks are nice size. They really are. I mean, I was pretty fortunate this morning. That was on the right side, and it was out in the middle, and you can see my left side about ready to run into the banks. Yeah. Yeah, I caught some nice bass doing this morning. They were, of course, there were schools of shad in there. Them bass were right in there with the specks. I could see them, and they were just a little bit bigger than most of the specks. You know, they were. You could tell the difference. I thought, man, this is big crappie, but they wasn't. They was largemouth. And every once in a while, I'd snag one and drag it in, which I hated to because it tangled everything up. Put a good fight though, especially, you know, the ones on the inside. If they'd grab on the inside there and go out and get the whole clear on the outside, it was a pain. Interesting morning. It was, like I said, it was non-stop. I'm going ahead and recording all this, and I really, you know, like I've told you before, I've got some friends that up north, and they can't get out and fish, and they tell me they look forward to this, you know, when I do this. So I'm going to run this in a little bit longer and show them how many fish I caught, and then they tell me they just like they're sitting in the boat with me, which kind of tickles me a little bit that I can do something for somebody and maybe help somebody else catch some fish, you know, and show them how I'm doing it. But it's not rocket science. You just throw them back here and make sure you don't go over a mile an hour and you'll catch fish. 6 pound test. I was doing the 4 pound test thing, but like I said, if you get a big bass on it or a catfish or something, it'll break off, and yeah, you can't hardly manhandle them too much with 4 pound test, you know. Putting the old bang to them. Yeah, I spray the boxes down, but after you put them in the water for so long, it kind of washes them off. I touch them all back up again with that shrimp juice, and like I said before, only thing I use is Bang with the garlic in it and the shrimp juice. I even use it for my bass baits. I mean, I use it and I used to use it for my muskie when I was muskie trolling, and then casting for muskies up north. Does it make a difference? I really believe it does. I think it makes them hold on to it just a little bit longer. And the baits that I'm making now, I'm grinding up feed and putting in the mixture of the plastics, so it's in there. I tell you, it smells like shrimp, and if you ever smell it, it's like what they feed the trout in these hatcheries and the steelhead and the salmon and stuff when they're raising them. And it is made out of shrimp. A lot of it's made out of shrimp, and it's just, you know, pulverized and into pellets. Well, I've been busting it up and just putting a little bit of it in each mixture of plastics when I pour the twister tails. Guys, the scent makes a difference. It really does. I don't care what anybody says. The scent makes a difference. It does. It really does. If you don't think it does, I'm telling you right now, we'll jig a little bit. All right, take a jig and jig a little bit. And then take a mini, and after they quit hitting, take minis and drop down in there. They can smell them minis and stuff, you know. If you never try it, try it. I mean, I don't care whether you're jigging or trolling. Try a little bit of that. No, I like sweet anise a little bit. I like sweet anise, but I like the shrimp juice, garlic on it. But some of it, it's just I believe it's just a fad. You know, you're just trying to make money on it. This Bang, they've been making this, I don't know, 40 years. I think this was the first fish formula they used to call it. And they've been making it forever. I'll tell you another good baits is Berkeley makes it. And I use that once in a while, but I always make sure that it's got garlic in it. Trying to figure out which one's on. Yeah, and you see where my poles are. Those are pretty close to the middle out there. The ones on the bank, you know, you just out there for so long. You're out there for a couple hours and you don't pay much attention sometimes when you're by yourself. You know, and the wind's kind of blowing me over towards the bank, and you got to stay in the middle. Like I said, you got to stay in the middle, and you got to stay on bottom. I didn't put no white ones on today. I didn't use the white too much. I used the clear blue with chartreuse, just in the clear, just the clear, and then the June bug and chartreuse, and pink and chartreuse. It seems like that was a combination. I started out with a couple whites, and I had some mustard colored ones on there, and they weren't producing, so I just kept switching them out till I found something that started working. Yeah, I've been out there a couple hours, so I'm kind of doctoring these things back up a little bit. That white line gets tangled up on the end real easy. Yeah, you can stop in there at Drawers Tackle and pick you up some of these twister tails. And
boys and girls, I always did like this shrimp juice. I call it shrimp juice, but it's Bang, and I like the garlic in it. The garlic's really important, and it's got some shrimp smell in it. And I'll take my box where my baits are in, and I'll just kind of do that and that. Spray them down in there like that. But I also can spray my bait down every once in a while. But yeah, right there, I don't use anything but Bang, guys.